Tonight we are dining for the very first time at Remy on board the Disney Fantasy. If you don't know, we do dining reviews every single Monday, so be sure to check those out. This is going to be a dining experience. So we've been to Victoria and Albert's before over at the Grand Floridian in Walt Disney World. So we have heard that this can be a similar experience, but Disney Cruise Line just kind of elevates everything, so we are really excited to see how this goes tonight. This is a very long meal. We know we're going to be here for a few hours probably. This is going to be smaller portions, but a lot of courses. And like the restaurant is named Remy, the restaurant is themed, it is French restaurant mostly, and then the decor throughout is reminiscent of Ratatouille the movie and Remy himself. Oh my gosh, that's what they were talking about. I just saw it right now. I was about to say you can see Remy on the back of the chairs, but like Remy is literally climbing up the back of the chair. Oh, yeah. And then there's some Remy in the decor in the booths, and there's actually a little crystal Remy on one of the chandeliers as you walk in. But I'm excited for tonight. I've been wanting to come here for a long time. I've expanded my palate over the last few years, so I think tonight is going to be amazing.
So for my cocktail tonight, which was out in the lobby, but now it's in here, is the Singapore Sling. This is a London dry gin with cherry herring, Benedictine, fresh pineapple juice, fresh lime juice, and bitters. $14, not included, and it's really smooth and very good. What I really love is that I can still get a little bit of the gin flavor in there. It's not overpowered by like the tropical, kind of juices and flavors. So, cheers! It's quite good.
Remy and Palo are the two adult dining restaurants, and they're actually located on the Fantasy on Deck 12 aft. So whenever you come up to these restaurants, there's a little check-in desk just past the elevators, and then the Meridian Lounge is right behind the check-in desk. So it's between the two restaurants. So we started in Meridian Lounge, got some cocktails, and then came into the restaurant. So I got the La Margarita. This is Casamigo Añejo, Bergamot Puree, Uzu, Cointreau, and Blood Orange. And it is very citrusy, but very smooth. I almost thought I was going to be getting like a limoncello margarita because I didn't really read it, and then I read it afterwards, and this is absolutely delicious. Definitely going to be a little strong because it's in a smaller glass, but it is very smooth, very wonderful.
We've been doing a lot of talking, haven't really been able to show you a lot. There's a lot that's going on. So here at Remy, we've got two different menus. We have a French and American menu. Each are $125, and it is 5 courses. So ideally, if you're coming here with 2 people, you just kind of split it, and here's the amuse-bouche.
Thank you. So, make sure this is not quite your first official course. This is what we call the amuse-bouche to help cleanse your palate for you.
Oh.
So we're going to find on the bottom, we're going to find a salted caramel with some toasted macadamia nuts. On the top with a foie gras seafoam, topped with fresh black pepper. So what we recommend is you get the long spoon, go right the way down to the bottom of the bowl, and enjoy all the flavours together. So we don't recommend mixing it, but just you get a little bit of all the flavours.
Don't judge a book by its cover. It's pretty good. I guess it's supposed to be like a palate cleanser for the rest of the meal. So, I don't actually really taste any of the salted caramel. Like, it's not as strong as I thought it was going to be. And I think it's balanced really well with the nuts, and then that actual like the pepper and the what is it, the sea foam?
Yeah. It's foie gras.
Foie gras, yeah. So, but it's not bad. Never judge a book by its cover, and always just try it. If you don't like it, move on. After the amuse-bouche, our server Matt brought out the bread service, which they serve with 3 different butters, a paprika, a regular butter, and then like a seaweed butter, and then a little bowl of salt. 3 different butters, and the salt is the finest salt that you could possibly procure. And it's like the top layer or something like that. It's like the purest of all the salt. So really good. I think of the 3 butters, my favorite was the seaweed. It has that just kind of I don't know how to describe it other than it's a strange, not something you're used to, but I like that. It's good. I enjoyed the taste. So on to the appetizers.
Excellent. So, Madam Michelle, your first course for this evening. Madame, we're going to have our maize dish. So it's a corn polenta flavoured with Parmesan cheese. Next there we have a Parmesan grill with Espelette pepper. We're then going to find a corn bavoise, so corn puree and cream. Finished with freeze-dried and roasted corn on the top. And we have this garlic shoot sauce, so really strong, intense garlic flavour. Gets this green colour from the shoots of the garlic. And Michelle, for yourself, on the American side, we're going to have Nigerian shrimp flavoured with togarashi, which is a Japanese spice. We're going to have a coconut lime nage, some Belgian imperial caviar, candied cashews and a cashew gel. And we finish off with this dashi sauce made from the bones.
Oh, nice.
Please enjoy.
Awesome, thank you. So I struggle a lot with really fancy places because it's really hard to describe exactly what I'm eating, other than I can tell you that it's really good. Flavors in there were citrusy shrimp cooked perfectly, which is really nice, and a little bit of spice in there, which I think was coming from I think it was like a Japanese seasoning or spice that was in there, so really good. Again, not something. What I love about trying things like this is that you get to try things that you probably normally wouldn't try anywhere else. So you can kind of expand your palate a little bit.
So I listened to what Matt said my first course was, and then I kind of forgot what he said, but it was so good. It didn't even matter what I was eating because the flavors were just amazing. But it was corn, it was maize, and there was some garlic shoot on the side, and it was super smooth, but there was different textures in there, which was really nice that it wasn't just all one texture. Because looking at it at first, I was like, oh my goodness, like this is gonna taste like all one thing. No, like they snuck all different kinds of flavor and texture in there, and that's all I can tell you. It was just really good.
Madame, we're going to have the Omar, so butter poached lobster coming from Maine. Served on the bottom with some toasted buckwheat, mashed fennel and a fennel glaze. We finish with some fennel blue and a lobster bisque.
Yum. That looks amazing.
Michelle, for yourself, we have Glacier 51 fish. So it's a whitefish coming from Antarctica, around 1,000 miles off the coast of Australia and around 2,000 metres below sea level. It's a really extremely rare, difficult fish to find actually. Served on a bed of mashed fennel and leeks. We're going to find some black rice puffed twills, and we have a black butter sauce that's flavoured with Pernod, Jägermeister, fennel and cream. Not Jaeger bombs, don't worry.
Second course for me was a toothfish, which he explained is, I guess, kind of difficult to get. And it was quite good. So
Quite good?
It was quite good. Yeah.
It was amazing.
It was. It's like I said. I'm not a big fan of like French cuisine, but
Yours is the American version.
mine's like the American version. I don't know if I would enjoy Taylor's as much, but like I said, live a little. Just try it. They're small portions, and it's been pretty good so far. So that dish was amazing, and I wish I could describe it better. The rice, the black rice puffs, which are almost like chips, mixed with the fish itself and the base. I mean, it's just really good. I could have had a larger portion of that easily for tonight.
My second course was the lobster. It was absolutely amazing. It looked like a smaller piece of lobster. However, it was actually quite a bit. It took me a few bites to get through all of that. But something that I'm really enjoying, I already said I'm really enjoying like the textures, but what I really like is that everything by itself on every dish is good, but together is like the most perfect bites. So I've been trying that on each plate, making sure that I eat a full bite together and then just trying everything individually. And like I said, everything is good on its own, but like just absolutely amazing all together. And I did try Josh's dish as well, and that fish was absolutely amazing. Whenever I saw it, I thought maybe that it wouldn't need those black rice puffs because there was quite a few of them, but you have to eat that with the fish, like, or just, it's not the same. Yeah, this is like one of those things that if you go to a restaurant and you don't like the vegetable on the side, you just don't eat it. not here. You have to eat everything because it all goes together. Oh, and with this dish, there was fennel in there. And I typically don't like fennel. It kind of almost has like that black licorice flavor. And I could smell it when it came out. But how it was prepared in this dish, like there's a time and place for fennel. And this was the time and place for fennel. I'm going to be dreaming about this meal, so I'm glad I've been taking a lot of pictures, and I'm glad that we're making a dining review of this.
But now for yourself, we're going to have the Dover sole. So it's a white fish coming from Portugal. So we slowly cook in a bouillabaisse of brown butter and mussel juice, and we're going to glaze with fish sauce. On the plate, you're going to have a leek selection. You're going to find some charred leeks, comfrey leeks, and leek flan. Finish what we call popples, so similar to a small clam. Really famous in England. Then we're going to finish with shellfish and a mussel sauce. And the shore for yourself, we have Poulet Rouge, so organic red chicken coming from North Carolina. Served on a bit of porridge, cooked risotto style. Inside there we're going to find some sunflower seeds and some toasted whole grain mustard seeds. You need a little bit of texture from them as well. Going to find some shiitake and hen with the wood mushrooms. Underneath the chicken breast, we stuff with panko breadcrumbs, chicken thigh meat and parmesan cheese. Finish with a Madeira wine sauce and a lemon balm oil.
Third course, which I had, was the Poulet Rouge, which was a red chicken. This was the first course tonight that I feel like I could almost recite most of everything that was there. Shiitake mushrooms, a porridge on the base. It's a very earthy dish, seasoned very well, some sunflower seeds in there, and overall just a fantastic, savory, kind of earthy feel. The one dish I think that maybe Taylor may not have enjoyed as much is because she doesn't really like mushrooms at all, especially the
I like
shiitake.
mushroom flavor.
Maybe.
He didn't let me try it.
I didn't let her try it because it was so good. It was so good. I ate it all. So really, really fantastic.
My third course was the Dover sole. This was a fantastic fish. I loved the mussel and shellfish sauce that was on there. The one thing I was a little skeptical about was the leek flan, which is almost, if you think about it, like a gelatin type dessert. So obviously this was not dessert, this was part of my third course. Mixed with everything together was absolutely fantastic. That leek flavor came through there so much, like I was genuinely surprised, but the flavor was amazing. And again, with the textures, like they are just, it is so good. And for the next course that is coming out, they actually gave me a little surprise glass of wine to go with it.
Skywalker.
It's from Skywalker Vineyards. I'm going to wait till my food comes out to try it.
So on the bottom left-hand corner, we're going to find the Miyazaki beef, so the world's best beef coming from Japan.
This one?
Exactly. On the right-hand side, we have the Australian Wagyu. So both from the same breed of cattle. The Miyazaki is going to be more buttery and tenderness, and the Wagyu is going to have more of a beefy flavour. Start with potato gratin, so layers of potato, slowly cooked with some cream and some butter. We have a beef jus that's flavored with braised oxtail and a burgundy red wine. She recommends you try the beef on its own first and add the sauce if and when you feel it's necessary. To shore for yourself, we have jus of lamb from Snake River Farm in Colorado. On the left-hand side, we have lamb tenderloin, topped with crushed pistachios. On the right-hand side, slowly cooked lamb belly. We're going to find on the bottom of a plate a date and pistachio farce, topped with pickled cucumbers. We have some garbanzo bean croquettes, so similar to falafel, maybe chickpeas, sat on top of eggplant puree, and we have a lamb jus flavoured with pistachio.
So I'm really trying to savor my Japanese Wagyu beef. Oh my gosh. It literally cut like butter. The Australian Wagyu, also amazing. But when you have the two side by side, unfortunately there is no comparison. The Japanese is just amazing. I do enjoy the potatoes that came with it as well, but I honestly could just get a plate full for lots and lots of money of this beef. It's so good. It does come with a little sauce on the side, but you really don't even need it. I did try it with the beef, but the beef itself is just flavored so well, you don't need a sauce with it. I did try my wine with it as well. I do forget which wine this is from Skywalker Vineyards. However, I do enjoy it because it's not super dry and it is a little bit sweet. So I do prefer a sweet wine, and this is very enjoyable. So red wines do pair well with beef, so perfect combo.
And just a stinky plate of cheese. I love it. So I didn't know that they did this, but and we very well may find out it's an additional charge. But they do kind of a tour of cheese, which is really cool. They have 11 different types of cheese, or kinds, so to speak, for you to try. So Taylor has 6, and I've got 5. Mine are the more stronger, especially in the nose. Taylor's aren't necessarily lighter, but you know, easier going, I guess, so to speak. But both are served with honey and some fruits, so we're going to dive in. Really love that this is an option here for you to try. And again, if you don't like something, you know, don't necessarily feel too bad, but I mean, you are paying for it. But again, think of all of these experiences when you come out and you do things like this as an opportunity to kind of broaden your horizons and expand your palate.
So the cheese course is immediately after the what you would consider like the entree or the 4th course. And after the cheese, when you're finished, they take your old napkins and you get a new napkin for dessert.
All right, so we just finished eating at Remy's upstairs. It was about 3 hours almost.
Yeah, and whenever we sat down for the meal, our server Matt asked us, do you have anywhere you need to be tonight? And we told him no, because we did not have any other plans. We already saw the show Aladdin the night before, so we didn't need to be anywhere. So they can kind of take their time a little bit more with you and let you kind of enjoy the meal for a little bit longer than kind of getting through it real quick and getting out the door. But
yeah,
overall, that was a fantastic meal. I love a long, like, upscale dining experience, because this is not really Josh's thing, but he does it because I like to do it. But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed the whole entire thing. I love when they explain the whole dishes, everything about the dish to you, and
yeah, it's not that
everything about
it's not that it wasn't good. It's just I prefer a much. We were talking about this on the way back down. It's just like I just prefer a much more like casual experience. Like if they offered like fine dining restaurants where you could just go in and like don't have to wear a jacket, don't have to be so dressed up. It's not so quiet and kind of not that it's stuffy in there, but it's just. It's a fine dining experience, and if you could give me a fine dining experience like that, but make it far more casual, I would probably do it a lot more, aside from the price. For tonight, it was $125 per person. Mm-hmm. And then you have to remember that they include an 18% gratuity. Yes. That's kind of like a standard charge across everything across the cruise ship when you paid for something. So drinks, palo, and then... on top of that, we were told that the 18% gratuities only really goes to like everybody in the restaurant, and then
it's like
additional
a split gratuity.
Yeah, and then an additional gratuity that you can leave if you wish goes directly to your server. So
we did do that.
Matt took excellent care of us, and I would recommend that all of you do that as well. You know, make sure that you're kind of giving it back to your server. But a fantastic meal. I mean, the food was. Amazing. It was so good. We didn't
even talk about our desserts.
We didn't talk about our desserts. So I had a raspberry... I can't even remember, but...
There was like almond and...
Not really almond. But it was almost...
They said
it was almost like a... I was a little worried about it because it looked like it was going to be really gelatin-like. And the textures for me for that just aren't.
And I quoted Josh from earlier in the meal and said, "Don't judge a book by its cover."
And it was really good, and I really enjoyed it, and I'm glad that I had it. So.
Yeah, and then I had a very chocolate dessert, and it was really rich, but it was fantastic. I loved the flavors in there, and it really just had this like. I mean, it smelled like chocolate, but because it was hot, it gave me like the hot chocolate kind of smell. It's very good. But the end of the meal, they actually come out with some more things. They brought a little chocolate tart out, and then they brought the little like candies from like the pastry.
Roll-ups almost.
They almost were. They were really good. Yeah. Homemade, obviously, by the pastry chefs. Absolutely amazing. And then to go, actually, they give you another small box of chocolates.
Yep.
And then they also give you 2 little like homemade lollipops. But
yeah,
and then for the ladies,
and I actually called ahead and asked if they could give Taylor a rose.
That's what they told me, but it's not true.
Not true.
They always give you one of these. Paolo and Remy, they give you a rose as you leave your meal. So it was a nice little touch that they have at the end, just to make you feel kind of special. But I mean, overall, I think they just take such great care of you there, and the quality of the food is absolutely amazing. And, you know, if this is quite expensive per person, but if you're coming on a cruise and you think this is something you really want to do, I would say at least try and do it one time, just for the experience. As long as you can do it once and just then have those memories of going and doing that. Yeah. I think we would definitely do this again in the future. Maybe not on our next cruise, but one of our next cruises. I'll have to talk Josh into it again. But let us know if you have ever dined at Remy on any of the Disney Cruise Line ships.